multiplayer survival horror games, a massive market in gaming. And with a market so big, a great game can easily slip through the cracks. And that's what we're talking about today. Handy Harry's Haunted House Service. A great game that slipped through the cracks in a massive franchise of gaming. The game is about you and up to 8 people exploring an abandoned house, fixing things while trying not to get hunted down by ghosts. The game is very similar to Lethal Company, despite the game coming out 3 years before Lethal, and it's sadly not seeing the success of Lethal. Not anywhere close. But today I'm going to talk about why you should be playing this game and why it's one of the most underrated multiplayer survival horror games out there. When you first open the game, you're met with the main menu. The first thing that might catch your eye is the ability to customize your flashlight color. This will also affect your cosmetic color, which is also in the menu, which we'll get into later because cosmetics are a great part of this game. And then in the middle of the screen, you'll see 2 game modes you can select. From here, you can select free play. Free play is where you run through randomly, procedurally generated levels with random enemies and tasks thrown at you. There's also an endless mode and a PvP mode, both of which I'll get into later. And on top of that, there's the career mode button, which is what we will be talking about first. When selecting the career mode, there's the official story of the game that you can select, or there's another little side career mode, which just celebrates the game being 3 years old. For right now, we're going to be focusing on the main career mode. When starting career mode, you get put inside this elevator. From there, you hear a voice which greets you to the company and tells you your tasks.
Hello lads, welcome to the Handy Harry's team. It's great to have you on board.
And from here, it's very straightforward. There's tasks you have to do throughout the house, like repair light switches, fix pipes, fix holes in the floor, and so on. And how they work is very simple. Turn off the power, take the fuse out, put the new fuse in, turn on the power, turn the water off, patch it, and turn it back on, put the floorboards down, and it's as simple as that. There's also batteries you can collect with your flashlight, which, if you hold right click, will charge up your flashlight and stun ghosts. Don't worry, ghosts will be coming very soon. This is just the tutorial of the game to get you through all these tasks. There's also a radar, which takes 1 battery, which tells you where everything is. And then a cloning booth, which with 1 battery and a player's flashlight, you can clone your friends if they get caught by a ghost. And then from there, there's one other thing to do. Once you've done all your tasks and repaired everything, there's the master switch. Flipping the master switch is where everything goes downhill. Ghosts become enraged and will chase you. But for here, it's very easy. All you do is flip it and you can just walk back to the elevator. Once you get to the elevator, you close the door behind you and proceed to the next level. And then the next level is very simple. You walk through an empty room, but you just do the tasks you were just taught. Do all 6 tasks, flip the master switch, walk back. As simple as that. But now, the next room we're going into gets very interesting because this is where we run into our first ghost.
Are you ready for a real job, lads? Scanners are picking up a ghost signal. That means that you'll have to be very careful in there.
The first ghost you encounter actually doesn't have a name, so for now I'll just call it Ghost or Floater. When walking around, if you hear whispers, you know he's close. The lights will also start to flicker, and once the whispers get louder, he will appear, either through a hallway or bursting through a door. Getting a better look at him, you can see he's just a black silhouette with his arms out and his legs bent back. He's very simple to dodge, either juke him or run around and make distance, or just use your flashlight and flash him and he'll go away. But if the ghost does manage to get you, it will jump scare you, playing a very loud sound and displaying a creepy distorted face. This is the same for every ghost. It just plays the same sound and it will just show one of these random images when it does catch you. And now that we're in a real level with ghosts, there's 2 things you gotta start looking at now. The first thing was shown in the tutorial, but I wanted to wait to talk about it because it's kind of confusing, and that's the map. The map is placed in every building, usually not that far from the elevator, and it looks like this. Yeah, I know you're probably wondering what am I looking at, but don't worry, I will explain. To start, to find where the elevator is, that little white part indicates the elevator. The red one is where the player is right now, where you are looking at the map. It doesn't show you moving around or even your teammates, that's just where the map is basically. Lime green means pipes, yellow means fuses, red is floorboards, the big green one is a revive, and orange is the master switch. It's a lot to take in, but once you figure it out, it's not too bad. Also, the map looks a lot bigger. It's not. A massive corridor in the map will make you think what you're walking through is a mansion, but it's not. The map is just super scaled up to just confuse you. That's what the game wants you to do. It wants to confuse you. It wants you to make you lose your sense of direction. Your best bet is to find a radar and just use it. It only takes 1 battery and it tells you how far everything is, and it's honestly super helpful. Radars are also the only item that's not marked on the map, so that just shows how useful they are to the player, because you have to randomly stumble across them. If you ever get confused on any of this, you can just go to the main menu and click this little question mark. It shows you everything. How fuse boxes work, how the radar works, how the cloning machine works, how the map works, everything. So if you ever get lost or confused again, you can always click that and it's super simple. Now the next item, which isn't even shown in that little menu I told you about that tells you about how the game works and all the stuff. No, it's not even there, and that's glow sticks. Glow sticks are super helpful. You get 3 of them and you press Q to drop one. You can drop one anywhere to mark maybe where the master switch is for later, where a cloning booth is, or where a dead end is. You get 3 of them and you can drop them wherever you want, and they're just really good to mark directions and so you don't get lost. And now that's pretty much the main things of the game. Like I said, the whole point of the game is literally running around and fixing things. All the things look like this. When you hear a pipe dripping, you know that's a pipe. If you hear static, that's a fuse box, and floorboards, you'll just see. And to fix them, like I said, is super easy. You just drag stuff across the screen, and you gotta make sure you're ready, because once you're done, it attracts ghosts. After you do a task, a ghost is drawn straight to that area, so you just gotta run. Or not run, because sometimes you can run straight into him, so it's kind of a gamble. But, you know, you have to do it anyways. It's your job. With all that out of the way and the basics of the game laid out, let's see what else career mode has to offer us. For the next couple levels, it's all pretty much the same, just the maps are different and there's more things to fix. It's the same ghost you're running from, and it's pretty much just you getting used to the game. Until you hit a level called Power Source. This level, you walk down a long hall with a master switch at the end. There are multiple doors on each side and you have to go fix things. This level is very confusing and very, very easy to get lost in. Once you fix everything, flip that switch and book it to the elevator. Because like he said, once you flip the master switch, the ghosts get super enraged and get much faster, and it's a lot more dangerous. You also have a set time to get back to the elevator, so you gotta go quick and also be very careful because you don't want to get caught by the ghost and have to redo this all from the beginning. And once that level is beat, we have another little filler level, and then this next one called Slasher. This is the second ghost type called, well, Slasher. The Slasher has a lot more evolved from the last ghost, and honestly, I think I'll let the boss explain this one.
Alright lads, listen carefully. We can confirm that the new ghostly signature on the scanners is indeed from the Slasher. I don't know how it's managed to come back, but it has. This is a very dangerous ghost. Staying out of its line of sight is extremely important. The Slasher will chase you permanently as long as it can see you. And worse yet, if you're in its line of sight, it will chase you even faster. If you're being chased by it, run. And avoid running in a straight line. Zigzag around the place and don't stop until it stops chasing you. You'll know you're safe once your flashlight stops flickering. And don't forget, you can always run back to the elevator to instantly stop any ghost from chasing you. Good luck lads, you're really going to need it.
Stepping out in this elevator is a lot more unnerving. You just got used to the last ghost and now you have to face off against this new one, which has a lot more to worry about. And now I want to talk about another great part about this game, and that's its atmosphere. Looking at the atmosphere, it might seem very simple, but walking out of the elevator, you hear creaks and cracks, the lights shut off in the elevator, and you have to just go. You slowly hear whispers, the dust and darkness blocks your view, you can barely see anything, your clock's ticking, pipes dripping, the occasional rats that will crawl on the floor, things being broken in the distance. It's overall very eerie and it doesn't make you feel very safe. There's rooms with dead bodies and flies. Overall, the sound design in this game that it throws at you is very weird. Some of the sounds you cannot understand where it's coming from or why it's here, but it really adds to it. It really makes you feel scared, and the fact that it's so dark and dusty, blocking your vision, it really helps with the atmosphere because you can get so lost in this game and lose your sense of direction because everything almost looks the same. But overall, the atmosphere is really creepy. It's a great part about this game and really adds to the scare factor. Another thing that adds to the scare factor is the reason we're here. The Slasher. The Slasher stands upright with a knife in his hand, and like he said, you gotta run and make distance. If you don't make distance, he'll easily catch up to you. Getting a closer look at him, like I said, he's just a tall, slender figure with a knife in one hand. He's much more annoying to deal with than the other ghost, but you'll get used to it. The next level is like the other one with the other ghosts. New map, more things to do, same ghost chasing you. Things don't change until you hit the next level called Unwellness. This level, you walk out of the elevator and stumble across a well. The boss says it's a hell pit, and it might be the company's fault that this thing is here and why this is happening. But the boss says to just brush it off and beat the level like normal. Once you beat the level, the next one is called Familiar Foe, and it's just you facing off against the Slasher again. And things don't change until the next level called Deadly Summoning. This introduced a whole new ghost type, way deadlier than the Summoner. And once again, I'll just let the boss explain this one.
Oh, damn it! Lads, I'm afraid there is a new ghost signature on the scanners. It seems to be a summoner. It is an incredibly dangerous ghost. All it takes is for one of you to anger it, and it will spawn multiple smaller ghosts to chase everyone who's still living. So communication is key. Good luck, lads.
And did you catch that? The boss says that this ghost needs a lot of communication. And with that, that's why I want to talk about another part about this game, and arguably the best part. The thing I literally mentioned in the beginning, and that's multiplayer. The multiplayer in this game is great, and for this we're gonna have to step away from the career mode for a second to talk about multiplayer since there's a lot to cover. First, the player. The player looks like this. Well, naked, all white man with a blank face. And of course, their trusty hard hat. But hey, you don't have to be naked and expressionless for long, since we're now gonna talk about the shop. The shop is a button in the bottom left of the menu, or between every level before you start it, you can click this little shop button on the pause screen. Once in the shop, you can see an array of goofy and wacky outfits to pick from. The little description on each item are great. There's 5 things to get in the shop: faces, hats, clothes, flashlights, and stickers. And also, Dev, if you're watching, can you please add a TV head hat? Please. Clothes are clothes, faces are faces, hats are hats. Some hats glow in the dark, which look pretty cool, and flashlights, depending on which one you get, will make a funny sound corresponding with the flashlight. So you can spam the flashlight for a funny sound. Also, fun fact, if you turn your flashlight on, it will either have a big beam or a small beam. Turn it off and back on for either the big beam or small, and you can turn the flashlight on and off and find which setting you like more, the big beam or the small beam. The stickers aren't really a shop item, they're just there since they're free and you can find them randomly in the career levels. And all you do is just select the sticker and press Q to place the sticker. And also, the color you picked for your flashlight in the menu also affects your cosmetics color. And once you find the item you want, you better hope you have enough batteries for it. Batteries are obtained by beating free play or career levels. Before each career level, it says how many batteries you will be rewarded for beating the level. And free play, you get batteries for just doing good. You mostly get 4 to 5 batteries for each game on free play. For career mode, loads you up with batteries. The whole career mode, if you beat it and don't spin a battery, you collect 133 batteries, which is enough to get your character to your liking. But once you've picked your character, it's time to play. Playing this game with other people is great. The game really mixes its horror and humor really well. It features proximity voice chat, and the game makes your mic sound like an Xbox 360 headset, which is always funny. And like I said, its horror and humor are really great, because you can be running down a dark hall with whispers in your ear, and your friend with a mankini and anime face with a fedora will run past you screaming and spamming his flashlight since it makes a funny noise. It's very similar to Lethal, even though it came out before it. But once we have multiplayer, we got our character, now we can start using the cloning booth. If you die in this game, you're not out forever. All you have to do is hope your teammates find your flashlight. To clone someone, you have to find their flashlight, have 1 battery, and find the cloning booth. By the way, the batteries you pick up in the levels are just for the game. These don't turn into shop points or anything. Another thing about this game that you start using with multiplayer is footsteps. Each player have footsteps corresponding to the color that they have their flashlight color. Looking on the ground, the footsteps can help you not get lost or find a dead body. They do disappear, so they aren't there forever except for dead body footsteps. Once you find the player and clone them, run since it alerts ghosts. The player waits till the cloning machine hits 100%, which takes about 5 seconds, and boom, you're back in the game. Another thing about this game when you play multiplayer is the chat. There's a little chat you can type in, and the funny thing about the chat is anyone can see it. When you die in this game, you don't get to talk to anyone else. You kind of just sit there alone, but there is the chat, and you can type in the chat and everyone can see it. Another thing is when someone's absolutely clutching, you can just spam in the chat and make it look like a real Twitch chat and just tell people they stink when you're spectating them. And that's pretty much the multiplayer. There's more to say, but it genuinely is a fun game with multiplayer. And with all that, I think it's finally time to return back to career mode and finish it. The last we left off, we were on a level called Deadly Summoning, where you fight a ghost called the Summoner. The Summoner looks like this. He floats towards you in crisscross applesauce, and he's basically the floater, but he's doing crisscross applesauce. Once you start doing repairs, it angers him. After a repair, he summons new enemies, hence the name, the Summoner. He summons these loud skulls with red eyes that will chase you down and are just super duper annoying. And flipping the master switch with the Summoner is super dangerous, since the red skulls get super enraged and are really annoying and dangerous. After you beat that level, the next one is called Omnipresence. In this, you walk out of the elevator and walk up some stairs. You walk down the stairs and down a long hallway with a giant eyeball at the end. Note, do not touch the eyeball. The boss says to defeat the eyeball, you must collect batteries and flash him, therefore weakening him. And while you're doing this, the Summoner is still after you. Once you flash him enough, he fades away and a hole where he was opens up. The boss says to jump in, and once you do, you're at another hallway with an elevator at the end. And that's basically the only boss fight in this game done. The next level is nothing special, but each level before you select it says something about the level. And this one, called Negative Press, reads, I think it's clear that we're the ones who caused this, and I'm afraid that means we're going to have to be the ones to put an end to it. So yeah, Handy Harry's Haunted House servers is the reason for the hell pits and why all this is happening. The next levels are basically the same until you hit a level called Arachnophobia, which, if you could guess, adds a new and final ghost called the Spider. And boss, I'll let you explain this one again.
Oh no. Lads, you're really not going to like this. Scanners are picking up a new ghost signature. It's not a slasher, it's a spider. I've only ever encountered one of these once in all my years of working. They're bloody awful. Watch your steps and keep an eye out for giant spider webs. Avoid those as best you can. Getting trapped in one is very dangerous, and it will alert the spider of your presence. If you find yourselves caught in a web, try and get out as fast as you can and hide. Oh, and one more thing. The spider likes to split into smaller spiders once you flip the master switch, so be careful with your escape plan. Good luck, lads. You've made it this far. Don't die on me now.
This thing is weird. I'd hardly call it a spider, besides the webs it leaves around and that it always crawls on the ceiling, which is really creepy. Getting a better look at it, as you can see, I don't know what you even call this, but it's creepy, I'll give it that. And like he said, flipping the master switch with this ghost is rough, since it makes mini spider ghosts that chase you, and they are super fast. The spider itself is super fast, and if it's chasing you and you hit a spider web, it's game over, since the spider webs slow you down a lot. Beat the level like the rest, and survive the new ghost. At this point, there are 4 levels left in the career mode. The next one is you facing the spider again, and the level after that, Web of Deception, the final level before you reach the Hell Pit and finish this mess. And we're on it, the second to last level called Sealing the Pit. This level, the elevator opens and you have no idea what to expect. Walking down a long hallway reveals a massive open hell pit. The boss says you don't have much time and you need to fix all 8 fuse boxes so you can shut the vault doors, along with a timer at the top of the screen counting down to make it even more tense. But luckily, every time you fix a fuse box, more time is added to the timer. And also, every time you fix a fuse box, it will just randomly teleport you somewhere in the map. And if that wasn't enough, this level throws every ghost you've encountered at you. And once you fix all the fuse boxes, flip the master switch in the middle of the spinning platform over the hell pit and run back to the elevator and shut the doors behind you. And remember, I said there are 4 levels left. That was 3. The final level, titled Curtain Call, the elevator opens and you see something you haven't seen this entire game: light. The hallways in this square room are nice and lit up with doors placed around. Open a door and you are greeted to the outside world. You're in a courtyard with grass and a beautiful sky above you and a running fountain in the middle. You did it. You're at the top and this is your reward. The boss congratulates you and says you're done. Just take the elevator back down when you're done. And it's a great ending. And once you've had enough, you walk in the elevator and press the button to take you down, and that's the career mode. The career mode is very good in this game. Not too long, not too short, not too repetitive, and a good thing that we're working towards. With that, we've beat career mode, and now we still have those other game modes, the 3-year one and the ones in the other menu. I'll quickly go over these since they are very simple to explain. When going to the free play menu, you have a couple options. There's a lobby name, host/join a game, and join an already hosted game button. When selecting host/join, you can select 3 game modes. Normal, which is just procedurally generated levels with random ghosts and tasks to do. Endless, which is a lot harder. This is basically just one big level. If you die in this and aren't cloned when your teammates get to the elevator and start it, you're out for the whole game. You can also store batteries in the elevator for this game mode so you are ready for the next levels. And basically in this, all you do is see how far you can get without everyone dying. And last is PvP mode. PvP mode, everyone plays as a regular player, fixing the place like normal, but one player is a ghost. The ghost has 2 abilities that recharge, one that makes it so it can see where players are through the walls, and one that will just randomly teleport you. This mode needs some work since the ghost is super overpowered and the players can just camp elevators forever and throw the game and just make it not fun. This with 8 players I'm sure is really good, but I've only gotten to play it with 4. And for each game mode you can also activate hardcore mode, which makes it so you can't flash, the ghosts chase you more, you can't clone, and you can't use the radar. So yeah, if you want to make the game super difficult for yourself, enable that. And that's the other game modes. There's also the 3-year one, which I'll actually save for you to play yourself. It's super fun and throws a lot of different stuff at you, and I think you should discover it yourself. And with that, that's the game. All this I just talked about you can get on Steam for $5. For $5 you will easily get your money's worth, and it's a price where you and your friends can easily get it. I mean, it's $5. The visual style also helps with its pixelated simple style, making it able to run on the lowest end of PCs. There's more I could talk about, but I want you to buy this game and play it and discover all the little things yourself. The whole point of this video is to hopefully shine some light on this game. The game came out around 2020, which is when a lot of games were blowing up, but you know what else came out in 2020? 2020, Phasmophobia, a very similar game, but we all know what happened to that game. It blew up. It has over 500,000 Steam reviews, which is crazy. And at its all-time peak, it had 112,000 people playing. So this game just got heavily overshadowed. Besides Corey Kenshin playing it, that's its biggest boom it's seen. And sadly, Corey played it at the worst time, when it first released. The game basically had nothing, not even tasks. So by the time all the updates rolled out, everyone already left. The game has a small little community on Discord, although in the time it took me to make this video, a total of 5 messages were sent in there. The game is sadly dead, and as harsh as that might be, it's very dead. And I hope this video does something for it. The game was made by a solo dev with a solo game studio, and overall the developer also said he's working on other things, but he really does want to update this game, and he wants to get the final update out that actually completes the game. This game would also be great with modding, which the developer said he's trying to do, but it's a little bit of a hassle because it's in Unity. So please buy the game. Tell your friends to buy it. Share this video around to group chats, and let's try to get some eyes on this game. If you've played Lethal and you like it, you will definitely like this game. I know I only have 1,000 subs, but maybe we can do this. And so with all that, that's the end, and that's why I think Handy Harry's Haunted House Service is the most underrated multiplayer survival horror game out there, and I think you should play it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.